Beneath the chasuble worn by a priest when he celebrates Mass is the garment known as an alb. Alb comes from the Latin word albus, which means white. This is the alb. The alb is the long white garment the priest wears at Mass, which is to remind him of his baptism, when he, like each of you, was clothed in white to signify his freedom from sin, purity of new life, and Christian dignity. It is also a reminder to him of the passage in the book of Revelation where it says that the saints are those who stand around the altar of the Lamb in heaven as the ones who have survived the great trial and have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. In the pre-Vatican II liturgy, when the priest vested himself in the alb, he would quietly pray, "Make me pure, O Lord, clean my heart, so that being made white in the blood of the Lamb, I may deserve an eternal reward." This particular alb that I wear is a special one for me. It was purchased for me in 1982 by my cousins when my grandmother died. I wore it for the first time at her funeral Mass, and there's a tag with the phrase "in memory of Margaret Heckman." I make a point to wear this particular alb whenever I celebrate a sacrament with a member of my extended family, a baptism, a wedding, a first communion, or even a funeral Mass. Every alb reminds me of the need to be free from sin, to be pure, and to appreciate my Christian dignity. But this garment has special meaning to me because of its connection with my family. Our gospel reading today mentions a significant and mysterious garment which is not worn by a man who has come to the wedding feast of the king's son. Jesus tells the parable about a king who gave a wedding feast. 2 times he sends messengers to bring the guests to the feast, but they're too busy to come. The guests are punished for their failure to attend, and strangers are invited to take their place at the feast. Of those strangers who do come, one fails to wear the special garment, and he's tossed out of the feast. It sounds unfair, since the poor man was apparently brought in at the last moment and had no time to dress appropriately. Some say the garments were passed out at the door of the feast, and this man simply refused to put it on. Whatever the case, a parable often exaggerates or is inconsistent or shocking in some way to nudge us to look for the symbolism. The garment likely is meant to make us all think about the significant garment of baptism, which is given to all of us when we become a disciple of Christ. It represents our need to be free of sin, to be pure, and to appreciate our Christian dignity. This man's failure to don the garment is symbolic of his failure to appreciate his Christian dignity, the precious gift of faith, and the importance of living out that faith in daily life. The parable nudges each of us to think about how well are we living out our baptismal commitment. It reminds us that we can't just show up at the feast and be a wallflower. You have to get up and dance and celebrate our salvation in Christ.